Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining me on Evening Beat for a look at your top local headlines. We have been tracking lots of news today, lots of developments in several stories. First, we start with one of Rochester's most notorious crimes in history. David Braum, convicted axe murdering 4 family members in 1988, will get out of prison later this month. Tonight, new details about his next steps from the Minnesota Department of Corrections. A spokesperson for the DOC confirming Braum, who is now 55, will transition to a Twin Cities halfway house after his July 29th release, where he will be on work release status. That still involves case management and supervision, including with GPS monitoring. The spokesperson says usually when inmates are released from prison, they will return to their county of conviction, which is Olmsted County in this case. However, the supervised release board decided Braum would not return here for work release or any potential future parole release. Braum's next supervised release board is scheduled for January of 2026. So why is Braum getting out now, when a judge handed down 3 life sentences in 1989? It was a law change in 2023 that made Braum eligible for parole consideration. When Braum was convicted, a life sentence required serving a minimum term of confinement of 17 years per life sentence. The 2023 legislation changed the minimum term of imprisonment for individuals who were under 18 years old at the time of their offense. At the time, Braum was 16. Based on the change, Braum became eligible for parole release after serving a total of 30 years. Braum killed his parents, Bernard and Paulette, and his younger siblings, 14-year-old Diane and 9-year-old Ricky. Now, we are also learning new information tonight from the Olmsted County Sheriff, Kevin Torgerson. He's sharing a statement just in the last couple of hours, as he was a deputy who responded to the Braum family home for a welfare check that February day in 1988. He wrote in part, quote, "I cannot stop what is already in motion, and we as the public must trust the parole board's decision and must hope Mr. Braum is ready for this transition in his life," end quote. Now, we are also continuing coverage tonight. The prosecution has rested its case in the jury trial of Minnesota DFL Senator Nicole Mitchell, accused of burglarizing her stepmother's home. Among the state's witnesses today was a Detroit Lakes police officer who spoke with Mitchell's stepmother about the alleged April 2024 burglary. The police found Mitchell inside her stepmother's home, dressed from head to toe in black. She told them she was retrieving items that belonged to her late father, including his ashes, because she said her stepmom, Carol, was no longer communicating with her. In court today, the officer said Carol was concerned Mitchell's purpose wasn't necessarily to get items, that she broke in to kill her. The defense called its first witness this afternoon, with testimony set to continue tomorrow. Mitchell is expected to take the stand in her defense. And our last story for tonight, Austin residents will have a lot to consider in November when it comes to helping fund some improvements to some facilities at the Austin Public School District. On Monday, in a unanimous vote, the Austin Public Schools Board voted in favor of a 2-question special election for this November for a referendum to help pay for upgrades in the district. Voters will need to decide on whether question 1, which looks at spending up to $54.7 million and building upgrades across 8 buildings in the district. The upgrades will focus on safety and accessibility improvements. Question 2 authorizes $12 million for the renovation of the 50-year-old pool at the Ellis Middle School. Question 2 cannot pass without question 1 passing. In total, the district is asking voters to approve $66.7 million. Austin Public Schools Superintendent Joey Pages says there will be a town hall-like meetings and other informational campaigns in the coming months to come to let the public know more about the referendum. According to the board, for a house worth $200,000, they would need to pay $164 per year. That is a look at your top local headlines for tonight. Of course, you can always catch more coverage on Braum's anticipated release on our KTTC News app and on our on our website. Excuse me. That's a look at your top local headlines for tonight. Have a great night.